I am pleased to be joined by Jim Harbaugh, head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers, formerly the head coach of my favorite San Francisco 49ers, and then in between a very successful run with the University of Michigan. Jim, I've got some college football questions for you and some NFL questions for you. Let's start with college because one of the big themes that we have talked about at CNBC Sport since we launched last year is NIL. And I know that you have been very public about saying you believe players should be paid. But between the transfer portal and conference realignment and recruits chasing money now, sometimes millions of dollars to choose their school, I'm curious if you feel like NIL is ruining college football.
No, I don't think it's ruining. It's going through a transition period. College football in general. I mean, there's been periods, where there's transition, but I think it's, I think all would agree. Especially the courts agree that the talent should be compensated. Players should be compensated for what they do. Have a piece of the pie, and some people may not like that, but I think that's the fair way that it should work.
Are you concerned at all, though, when you see things like what you saw with University of Michigan and Bryce Underwood, the number one recruit coming out of high school, and his opinion seems to be swayed by this infusion of money connected to Larry Ellison, who's one of the wealthiest people in this country? I think you can see that there's maybe a slippery slope here where suddenly all of these wealthy individuals are kind of handpicking where these kids go to college. That doesn't seem to be in the same mindset as traditionally how players chose colleges. Are you concerned at all about that?
I mean, I think we'd both be, a hypocrite to say that. If you're doing a job or you're doing work, I like making a buck just like the next guy. I'm sure you like to be compensated for what you do in your services. So I side on that's the more fair way that there's a lot of money being generated, as in college sports, and those that are out there that are playing, the talent, should be compensated. I just feel that's the more fair, the more right way.
What do you think the NCAA's role should be in all of this?
There's going to be rules that they're going to govern. The NFL has them. Eventually that'll take place. And it's going through a transition period right now. But I think it's definitely progressing and moving in the right direction.
We saw this year Ohio State lost to Michigan in the regular season and then went on to win the national championship game and became national champions with 2 losses. Do you feel that regular season college football games are becoming devalued?
I'm for the playoffs. I'll start there. There was 12 teams in the playoffs. Used to be 4. It could grow. It could grow to more. But prior to the playoff system, even the 4 playoff system, pretty much college football was the only sport in college that had a national championship without a playoff. Every other sport, had a playoff. And so now that there is a playoff system, be like college basketball, you lose a regular season game, but you win the NCAA tournament, you're the national champion. Does that devalue the regular season? I don't think so. So it's just, it's just a more fair way to come to crown a champion, to actually have the playoff, have it decided on the field. Again, I think that's the better way than the way it used to be. It was just they used to vote on it. It used to be a vote by coaches and by media AP, UPI would crown a national champion. So yeah, count me in favor of the playoffs.
Even though that last game between Michigan and Ohio State, do you feel like it's at risk of losing luster over time?
I don't think so. I mean, having played in it, having coached in that game, I mean that is always has been, always is, and always will be a huge game. So that game's decided, and then but then you have the playoffs, and Ohio State won the national championship. So congratulations to them. That's that's playoffs. That's the nature of a playoff system.
All right, let's turn to the NFL. Full disclosure, I'm a big 49ers fan. It's been 11 years now since you left San Francisco. You've never really talked about what happened at the end there. There's been a lot of rumors and reporting around you didn't get along with the general manager, the owner. We are CNBC Sport. Our goal here is to try to take the curtain off the business of sports. So I just want to start by opening it up to you, because it's been a long time, to give you a chance to kind of explain what went down at the end.
I actually talked about it, quite a bit. Been asked a bunch of times, and it's just been. It was some of the greatest years of my life. Those 4 years. Players, coaches, organization. Some of the things that that we did were just some of the absolute best memories of my life. What happened 2014, we didn't win enough games, and went a different direction, but yeah, it still remains some of the best times of my entire life.
But your record
Signature
for
years.
those that don't know, Jim Harbaugh was 44-19-1 as the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. 1 year, the 49ers went 8-8, and the next year, ownership decided to move in a different direction. There's got to be some part of you, even today, where you're a little mystified by that decision.
No, not no. Everybody does what is in their best interest, and what they think is in their best interest, and nothing but respect, for all those, for the York family, Jed, all the players, all the coaches that were there, and yeah, just great times. Prague, everybody. I mean, great competitors, and they're doing a fantastic job. Kyle, John Lynch. I mean, fun to watch them continue to have success, and best darn job I've ever had here at the Los Angeles Chargers, and just blessed. Really, I just feel blessed to be 61 years old now, and still competing. As you mentioned before, just to be able to wake up today on a Tuesday, to be in Indianapolis, and attacking this day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. I mean, couldn't have it any better.
I know you're a big Judge Judy fan, so let me lead the witness a little bit.
Who
here.
isn't? Who is not a Judge Judy fan?
You're now in a job where you're working with a general manager with the Chargers. What lesson did you take from your 49ers time to now being back in the NFL in terms of the management of football, in terms of working with a general manager or ownership that you apply to today?
The things that football have taught me since, being 9 years old, playing for the Ann Arbor Junior Packers. It's all about the team. It's the team. We work together. We win together. That's at its fundamental. That is the most important thing. No greater sport, no greater than football, as far as when teamwork comes in, that aspect of it. Nothing.
Couple league questions for you. There's been talk about adding an 18th week to the season. Curious to hear your thoughts on that.
More games. I'm for that. Don't have a not hell bent, not opposed. But yeah, 18 sounds better than 17.
Do you think your players share the same attitude? It's a lot of wear and tear.
Yeah, I think there's going to be. I mean, I think there'll be new. From what I've heard, there'll be possibility to expand the rosters, which is.
Are you for that? Are you for roster expansion?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm still. I'm a coach, but I also played. I mean, I kind of still think in a lot of ways like a player, and yeah, expanded roster. If I was a player, I'd want to expand the roster. I'd want more opportunity to make a team and be on a team, and yeah, I definitely think if there's going to be more games, then yeah, there should be more players on the roster, more opportunity. Maybe more opportunities for IR, exemptions, more than 8 in a season. I mean, all those things could and should come into play if there's more games.
Let's talk about the Chargers. You guys are about to enter into free agency season and the draft. Taking a look at your roster today, what are 1 or 2 areas where you feel like you guys need to improve for next season?
Yeah, we'll be attacking everything. I mean, I think it starts first though with I want to personally see as many of our 2024 players back in 2025. I mean, I know it's not possible this day and age, to get every single player, back on the roster and signed. But we're off to a good start. Elijah Molden signed a contract with us, and Joe Ortiz, John Spanos, Ed McGuire. I mean, be working hard here as to get our free agents signed, and then hitting it hard to look at free agency and the draft coming up. So that's job number 1 right now, and then our players. Some you can already see them. You already see them training. They're already. It's a year-round job to be great in the National Football League. Our players are already doing that, and then back in April for football school and OTAs and mini camps, and it'll be right here. It'd be honest like that. So yeah, just. It's every day trying to figure out how I can bring as much as I possibly can to our football team and make us better in version 2.0.
We talk a lot about sort of the media landscape of the NFL. I'm curious if do you subscribe to all of the different streaming services out there? Are you confused by the fact that NFL games are on like 6 different services these days?
No, it's not confusing at all. Big streaming fan. I mean, that's one of my big hobbies. But yeah, you mentioned 11 years ago. I mean, was last in the league in 2014 until this year, and I can honestly tell you at that time, I felt like. Well, the NFL couldn't get more popular. It could not be more popular than it is right now. And 11 years later, now in 2025, I mean, I think it's 3x, 2x, 3x of what it was a decade ago. The popularity, the excitement that is around the game, the way the NFL is promoted, the way it's enjoyed, the way it's loved. So. Very blessed to be a part of it. And yeah, gotta level up. Gotta coach better, gotta be better. Especially in the competitive landscape that it is right now, and the NFC West, which we're in. It's about as competitive as it gets. So that's the best part, the competition. So yeah, ready to have at it in 2025.
11 years ago, you were coaching Colin Kaepernick. He was the starting quarterback of the 49ers then. In hindsight now, looking back on that, do you feel like the league treated him fairly?
Yeah, the thing I look back, I mean, just been blessed to be around talented quarterbacks. Lucky. I can go back to Josh Johnson, who I coached at USD in 2004. He was a freshman. He's still playing in the National Football League. And Andrew Luck, Davita Pritchard, Alex Smith, Colin Kaepernick, Jake Rudock, Shea Patterson, JJ McCarthy, and now Justin Herbert. One of the great competitors that have ever been around. Colin, Justin, JJ, Alex Smith. I mean, completely blessed.
I'm not going to let you off that easy, Coach. That was not an answer to my question. Do you think the league treated him fairly, though? I mean, he was virtually blackballed, right, by the league. You were such a big supporter of his. You called him Superman to the idea that he would just never get a job again in the NFL.
Yeah, well, I don't know everything, and I don't know. I mean, there's just not, wasn't there in 2015, 16, 17. I'm not going on using the words that you're using and calling those facts. I just don't know. That's the honest answer.
Tell me a little bit about your partnership with Invivid and what has gravitated you to go in this direction.
Yeah, health, man. Just doing everything I can to be healthy. So yeah, very excited, very proud to partner with Invivid and options to be healthy. I mean, I know people think like COVID's old news. People don't really want to talk about it that much, but facts are people are still getting sick, still being hospitalized, still dying, and especially those that are immunocompromised, those that are fighting cancer, have had an organ transplant, and you just don't know when that or where that's going to hit for yourself or within your family. As a coach, I just want people there, at the games, family, not to be in fear that they can't be around others. So yeah, bottom line, talk to your doctor and go to the website expandtheiroptions.com. For those options to make yourself and those around you as healthy as possible. So I appreciate you bringing that up.
I'm just curious. Was there something about the message of attacking COVID in a way that doesn't involve vaccines that particularly appealed to you?
Yeah, to have options. It's beyond vaccine, but not a doctor. Talk to your doctor about that. But yeah, like I said, as a coach, you want people not to be in fear of and to expand their options, and because there's other options out there other than vaccines.
Jim Harbaugh, who's got it better than us?
Nobody. Blessed. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jim. Thanks, Coach.